chat, here we go. The Mawkzy streak continues. This time, it's against Nass. As Proverb drops the gifted sub over to Chapley. Thank you so much. Mawkzy has been getting some serious wins. He seems to feel like he's in form, and he has been talking a lot of talk, and he's also been walking a lot of walk. So we're going to see what he can do here against Nass. These two have played each other somewhat recently in 2 different best of 5s as a part of the Champions Road 1v1 for Europe. Nass actually lost, or they might have played 3 total. They might have played in the upper brackets before that, where Nass won. Then in the grand finals, Mawkzy, I think, actually swept in order to reset the bracket, and then Nass won again. So in the 3 recent matches, Nass is 2-1 over Mawkzy. So it's not impossible for Mawkzy to get a win here in a best of 7, but certainly, and we've said this many times now, Nass is the favorite over Mawkzy. But the way he's been playing, I have a feeling that the channel points might even skew Mawkzy. I wouldn't be too surprised after taking down the likes of, hopefully by the time this video is up, you guys have seen Nass's video. I think he'll be releasing them, you know, in the coming days, because he's the one who actually had the initial show matches, which were against Nupo and then Rawas. Then we had him against Vatira, and now on this channel, the game before, he just played Drowley, somebody who's normally very tough for him to beat. He was able to get that win, and now he has Nass. So 5 straight against those opponents would be one of the better streaks we've ever seen in one. Sure, it's only 5 games, but it is about as 5 tough games as possible. And Vacanus is going to give $200 to the Mawkzy fund. I'll say on the next kickoff because I won't be able to type it in time. But $200 prize for this best of 7, courtesy of Mr. 1v1 himself. I mean, he can have whatever title he wants. King of 1v1, Mr. 1v1, Mr. 1v1, Moneybags, I don't know. Whatever he wants it to be. Vacanus is the #1 supporter, there's no doubt. He's going to drop another $200 on this matchup to keep these guys as locked in as possible, playing for a lot on the line. Mr. 1v1, I think Mr. 1v1 is pretty good. The 1v1 Magnates, not bad. By the way, FaZe, thank you for the brand new tier 1. Starting the hype train. Mawkzy getting demoed here as Nass gonna have a decent chance on net. Does just decide to lob one up crossbar heights, and Mawkzy does it again. This has been one of the keys to his great run, is boost control, or you know, 100 boost pad control in his own half. He is just not letting opponents steal it, and that is really what it comes down to in terms of extending possessions and being able to get multiple shots on net. You need to win those boost steals. Instead, it's Mawkzy allowing only 1 shot at a time, it would seem. But Nass is going to make a lot out of his 1 shot, as he will start his dribble from inside his own box and gets the nice reset late to place it top right. Little do you know, Vacanus is only using your stream to launder his money. So you're saying it's an operation between Mawkzy and Vacanus, where he says, Mawkzy, you got to go win, but we're sure you'll win, so that's how we get the money back. Well, I tell you what, Mawkzy must have been playing into it in recent matches, because while he's always been one of the best 1v1ers in the game, he hasn't exactly been as dominant as this streak is suggesting right now. Which all that means is, if it were part of Vacanus' plan, he was just hustling earlier. And now he's ready to turn it on, now that it's come time to really launder that money. Mawkzy backing off as Nass will demo him as a part of this 50, but it's still on target. So Mawkzy will get his goal all the same. Certainly a worthy sacrifice. Tell him about the prize pool. Oh, I keep forgetting to tell him. You're right. I'm choking. I'll get it on next goal for sure. No way I forget. Mawkzy bump, cuts, Nass a save, and will tie the game and give me a lot of time to think about it. And now they know that it is a $200 prize courtesy of the 1v1 Magnate. Both of them dropping their thanks, as we all owe a thanks. In fact, could we get a thanks exclamation point from everybody in chat to Vacanus right now? Nass on the half flip, a passive defensive stand, gets dunked. Mawkzy has been doing this really well as well, just able to switch the field with ease whenever he feels like there is pressure when he's on his own back wall. Like I said, he wasn't able to make anything out of it this time. Backflip challenge. He'll take over control of the ball, and we'll play it slow. Nass seems willing to react defensively, but right now finds himself down as Mawkzy gonna hook shot to keep Nass from being able to challenge. Nass recognized that, backed off, but the shadow hasn't been working as well as he would like. Picks up the midfield 100, thought about the challenge there, but keeps waiting it out and believing in his ability to react, but finds himself down 2 because of it. Slight delay on the wave dash kickoff, hits the boost steal, has a chance on net, tries to boom it there, but Mawkzy will be able to get that save low. If Nass kept it up and kept it about crossbar height or something, he would have been able to get that goal. Kashmir with a $50 donation. Pogo shot from Nass as a celebration for the contribution to the prize pool. $250 prize now, and Nass is living up to the prize with a nice pogo shot to keep himself in it with 22 seconds left to go. Mawkzy gonna win a kickoff to the side wall, which could end the game. Nass has a decent amount of boost to work with. He knows he needs to save it to try and win this late. Mawkzy's not even gonna take the ball towards net. Just gonna hook it back to the midfield. Nass has a decent enough chance here with the clock winding down. Mawkzy pinched it away and actually also clipped Nass, which will guarantee the win. Game number 1 gonna go to Mawkzy, despite the strong effort from Nass late. If Mawkzy were to get this win, he would tie the all-time series against Nass. Game number 2. Mawkzy and Nass. It is worth pointing out, as you see TTV Mawkzy _. Mawkzy pretty much always streaming his matches as of late. I feel like he used to not stream big tournament matches and maybe only do like the show match here or there on stream. But he seems fully committed to streaming every competitive match, which, hey, I love the moves. If there's content to be had, make it your content as well. If you guys ever want to see Mawkzy POV, he's pretty much always live, and you should be able to know the link because it's right there in his name. And I think he's gotten to the point where he doesn't seem too affected by being live while he plays. He does turn off his face cam, from what I understand. The past couple times I've checked, once it's time to lock in for a match like this, face cam does go off. Mawkzy gonna pop up the flick after the demo to tie this game. No mic either. Oh yeah, that makes sense. No mic, no cam. So the full lock-in, but hey, you might as well have the stream running. You know, I think it could probably just be good for Rocket League in general to have more people streaming. I know Drowley made a tweet about it recently, as he's been streaming more. I think he's been streaming daily. Saying it's probably good for the game to have more pro streaming, and I'd have to think it would be. Not to mention it's probably just good for the pros themselves. But I know not everybody is interested in the streaming life, so they're not too worried about, you know, having the brand set up and ready to go if they ever fall off from the pro game. Mawkzy A setup off the ceiling into the resets. Clearly headed down the wave dash. And Nass saw that, so he took it away. And now a side flip as Nass shooting in the air. A much needed mix up from many of the takes to the ground that we've seen so far. But sometimes it can be a lack of power that I think discourages players from trying to shoot that in the air. It's hard to get back to a good position to get a powerful shot, but you know, Nass showed it's very possible. Getting underneath the ball and side flipping. Mawkzy, I think, was trying to go for a cheeky save. I want to say he could have gotten a clearer one here, but he might have been looking to push it off the post. Let's see. Yeah, he definitely could have. He was trying to get a counterattack save. And that is the risk you take. Once upon a time, a risk too big that we didn't really see any 1v1ers going for those saves, but very common now. Especially considering in the long run, you know, saving from that zero boost position is probably going to be a goal in the next 10 to 20 seconds anyways. So why not go for a risky clear? Maybe you get out, maybe you even counter for a goal. And it's probably better off than just accepting your fate and delaying the inevitable. Nass going to cut this around Mawkzy as he's trying to bounce back after the early series start for the Mach. But there's lots of time left on the clock and only a 4-goal lead. Mawkzy launching this flick up to the backboard and then trying to back off for the follow-up, but Nass is going to attack the easy target in reverse to make sure that doesn't happen. Nass pop up over the top to make it 6-1. Free flip from Mawkzy to clear. Did not go how he would have liked it to. Mawkzy has been down during this streak of wins that he's had. He's been down as much as 6-1, I think, or at least 6-2, and has come back to win the game. Right now his flicks are just a little bit too high-powered. Although if you take heat off that, you never know if it just doesn't get over the top of Nass in the first place. Nass going to make it 7-1. Two minutes is a long time. That's enough that Mawkzy is under the belief that he can bring it back, and he will get his second goal after consecutive bumps on this wave dash kickoff. The first time chatter says next, but Mawkzy does not agree. Which of course means we will have to permanently ban the first time chatter if Mawkzy does win. Let it be known, the Crazy's life is on the line. Mawkzy will get a third. Is the Crazy sweating? That is the question. Wave dash kickoff for Nass. Gonna wipe a little bit of sweat off that chatter's forehead as he re-extends the lead to 5. Easy win for Mawkzy. I need VIP if he does. You know what? I'll let chat decide if that first time chatter deserves VIP if Mawkzy wins. I think it has to also be at risk of a perma. That feels, you know, how we make it nice and fair. Mawkzy, clean catch, cuts. Nass gets the save, though. Mawkzy is running out of time a little bit, as he's going to go for a double jump bump here. After he did not fall for the Nass fake challenge, it was quite clear what the next best option was, with Nass awkwardly set up in nets and very prone to getting bumped. Mawkzy flick, could not get over the top of Nass. Probably wants a bump if possible, but don't think he'll be able to. Nass just going to boom the ball at the net under the assumption that the power will put Mawkzy in a bad position. And he seems to be right. Can't blame Mawkzy for going for the greedy in and out save and attempt to score. But it is back to 4. Mawkzy just hasn't been able to get that slight edge that he normally has on those flicks. Just a couple moments away from getting clean flicks that Nass gets no touch on and turn into goals, but the defense has been too solid, and it's probably going to be a 10th goal for Nass. Nice delay to guarantee it. Game number 2 will be Nass's. So the first time chatter who said next survives to see another day. And now everybody in chat all of a sudden has the confidence to type next as well. Tied series, just the best of 5 to decide who gets the 250. Game number 3. Mawkzy and Nass. Nass right to a double jump bump, and Mawkzy will die. Mawkzy has been talking about getting a massive streak going, and he has played almost exclusively final bosses. When it comes to getting a big 1v1 streak going, usually you would end with the 5 players that he's played so far. Those 5 being Nupo, Rawas, Batira, Drally, and Nass. I think it's about as tough as it gets. If he can get over this hump, you know, it's not completely smooth sailing by any means to the rest of the streak, but it does seem like there are greener pastures past these matchups. But Nass has no interest in letting Mawkzy get past this matchup. And again, I must stress, if you guys haven't checked out Nawis on Twitch or YouTube, part of the streak, the start of the streak, was over on his channel, so it's worth checking out. It is in Arabic, but we watched a lot of Arabic speaking Rocket League content, and it's usually pretty hype, and we don't understand it, so wouldn't necessarily say that should guide you away. Mawkzy, every flick, cannot get over the top of Nass. Nass did not have that boost respawn for him in time, so it is going to be a tough position. He dodges a demo and gets a good enough clear that he'll be able to buy time to reset. Mawkzy does not want to go up in the air as Nass prepped on the side wall for a high challenge, and Nass is just one step ahead defensively. This 50 should be a win for Mawkzy as he is on the board, but only after digging himself a bit of a hole. Down 3 in game number 3. Mawkzy, quick double off the back wall. Will get himself within 1 here. Nass. What a shot. Out of the back corner. Air dribble resets. Mawkzy is able to reset on boost. I think midfield, but what movements. It's so clear. Watching from Mawkzy POV how tough it is to defend against that. Nass resets. This time, not successful, but has himself a first possession. Mawkzy's flicks have gone from lethal to wet noodle. And that is all courtesy of Nass, who has been able to prevent him from getting to good spots, and then even when he does, challenging him early enough to prevent him from getting an advantage. Mawkzy, air dribble bump, gets himself on the board. Flick from Mawkzy from distance around midfield range. Mawkzy heard what I had to say about his flicks and is looking to prove me wrong as he launches that one 111 kilometers per hour. And now back within one. Mawkzy prioritizing the ball over trying to pick up this back corner boost, which might not have respawned from in time anyways. Nass, though, this is not the easiest play to make off the side wall, and Mawkzy knows it. And that's why he's turning the challenge to try and take this ball away. But Mawkzy gets red, and right as he does so, Nass flips it off the wall and finds a way to score from that position. Mawkzy this time finally gets over the top of Nass. He has been trying to do this so many times to no avail, but this time around he is able to get over the top of Nass. You could tell it was close. In fact, Nass a bit frustrated. The camera toggled because he felt like he was probably pixels away from getting that clear. Now a one-goal game and another kickoff win for Mawkzy. Gets the ball on top of his car. Felt like the initial flick off of the single jump wasn't going to be good enough, so he tried to go back down to the ground, but Nass will steal it away. So just a great defensive maneuver from Nass to fake into the shadow, get Mawkzy to bail out of his first attempt, and then backflip to steal it away. Nass denied by Mawkzy, who is low on boost and using resets to try and help him get this clear. He's in a reverse dribble. The half flip is pretty clean, and it will put the ball on target and force Nass to control it without picking up a back corner. So he's going to be playing on zero. And Mawkzy sent this one high. Will not be able to get back down. But what a first touch. I think at least a little bit fortunate because he didn't even have ball cam on. And yet it lands perfectly for him. And now a demo within one with 38 seconds left to go. A pivotal Game 3, but not nearly as important as I feel like Game 3 is in best of fives. But it could be huge to give himself this lead. He has not even gone the distance with anybody he's played against so far. And he maybe has no interest in doing that now. 7-7. The wave dash kickoff mirrored by both of them, but won by Mawkzy. And Mawkzy has clawed his way back. Hook shot now. Denied by Nass. Mawkzy has Nass on low boost. Wants to keep him there. Isn't doing the best job of doing so. Nass is going to get a shot attempt. In and out. Mawkzy didn't get the cleanest landing. He played it safe on the side wall, but ultimately Nass takes it away from the net to get a wall to air dribble and goes low and sneaks it in the bottom right. Mawkzy took the trip out to the opposite boost. He wanted to defend with 100, and he cuts to defend the close side of the net. That's not where Nass was aiming. 6 seconds now. Need a kickoff win for Mawkzy. He gets it. I think he was trying to go for a bump based on that flip, but does flip past. And Nass should be able to tap it away. Wait, Mawkzy does get underneath it. Now he'll get undercut. It'll hit the ground. Nass will take the lead in the best of 7, forcing at least a little bit of a comeback from Mawkzy after he has been dominating in the past few series. Game number 4. Mawkzy and Nass. Mawkzy hitting him with the Mawkzy kickoff. The wave dash bump into follow-up. I think the one he was trying to use at the end of last game to equalize. Mawkzy, great speed. Taking the ball into your back corner there. Something that, like I said before, I mentioned it already. Oh, Mawkzy had a chance, just missed high. Kind of unforced error there because he did outplay Nass. But Mawkzy, great save. Anyways, Mawkzy does a great job of on low boost, managing to play keep away and get clean possessions that other players just don't get. They crack under the pressure of the defender chasing them down. Mawkzy, oh my goodness, he did everything he needed to. He faked going high, had the reset, was going to go back down low, but then just sent it way wide of the net. At some point, you do need to give Nass a little bit of credit, though, because he's just making Mawkzy go to, his second idea, or, his plan B from where he initially started, and sometimes that's what leads to little mistakes like that. Nass clearly just going to stay glued to the wall as he swings around, hoping for a demo. Jumping off from that position does not seem wise, and even though he doesn't connect on the demo, he gets back to make the save and the counter. Nass rolling this one to the side wall. Mawkzy going to take over control, and this flick does not connect with Nass, which is a rarity. But Mawkzy has been improving, maybe reading those early challenges a little bit quicker, and has himself a 3-1 lead. Thank you, Demius, for the 8 months of Prime. Mawkzy has no chance. Well, he's up 3-1, but right now he's just trying to equalize the series. Nass undercutting after intercepting this one, and it doesn't matter that the hook shot didn't connect. It seemed pretty clearly intended to be a hook shot. You can even see him pause there for a second when he's like, wait a second, I missed. But fortunately, it was rolling in anyways. Mawkzy trying to control the ball out of the corner and then go for the demo. We've seen him go for the demo a lot. I've seen him just ignore the ball and try and demo there early. Ooh, nice chip. Nass gonna let it slow roll in before finishing it off. 3-3. As it can be that simple if you change the direction of the ball at the right time. Another mirrored wave dash kickoff that favors Mawkzy. Don't think he'll be able to score easily here, though. As he pops the ball high. Nass is going to leave. Mawkzy does decide to play the switch up of pace instead of trying to beat Nass with speed just by booming the ball, opposite corner of his boost pickup. I think that makes sense. I think Nass would have made it back, but unfortunately Nass had the switch up red as well. Nass going to save this one from the top shelf. Now into the air the other way. Mawkzy has to go pick up boost before he can defend, so he'll be reacting late on the goal line, and he will not be saving Nass's reset shot. Mawkzy looking like he's thinking about the back wall challenge before deciding to stay on the ground. And ultimately playing the react game, maybe hoping Nass takes the ball to the ground after the reset, but it's not what happened. Mawkzy tested him and Nass passed the test. Mawkzy going to equalize though as Nass lets the ball roll away from him on 0 boost. I shouldn't even say lets the ball roll away. He kind of chipped it away from him to a position he could not contest anymore. Mawkzy trying to set up a wave dash kickoff, got bumped so high that he then had to just turn it into a flip. He just diagonal flipped back towards the direction he wanted to recover. Did not grab the midfield 100. So Nass will be right behind him, but he seems to know that. Nass resetting on his own back line. Mawkzy's going to try and not let him do that for free, but Nass punishes. We've seen Mawkzy doing the same thing. A great job of punishing the players trying to chase him down and make them feel awkward on the back wall. Neither one of these guys feel very awkward. Nass could put himself in a great position here with a Game 4 win. Mawkzy a lot on the line. As we talked about before today's stream, losing matchups all time with both of the Moroccans in 1v1. And he is trying to change that now. He has a long way to go. It'll take many, many games to change it with Drally. But he could switch the matchup with Nass to a tie all time if he could come out the better of him in this best of 7. Mawkzy front flip, wants the bump, gets it, and now has the lead. You don't see the low front flip bump very often. Usually it's a double jump bump, but Mawkzy needed to get out ahead of the ball and scores both Nass and the ball. Mawkzy is one to play these leads late in games very well, as you see him collecting his possession and taking it back to his goal line. Now into his favorite position. Will we see one of his flicks? No, it'll be a fake. And Nass will drop him the nice one. And it's hard to blame him for jumping when Mawkzy gets to this position. He has seen blazing hot flicks go top left hundreds of times from that exact same spot. But this time, it is all a ruse. Mawkzy, my goodness. He was losing this game. It felt like, I think in the final minutes, but he's going to make it a 3-goal lead with 30 seconds left to go. Nass is going to need some kickoff magic now. Mawkzy does miss his wave dash kickoff, but it shouldn't really matter. It's just taking Nass too much time. Even if he shows that he has a Diaz dribble in his arsenal. That is pretty nice. The full field dribble finishes in the wave dash shot. I don't think the ball hits the ground, so you got to give him credit for that. Mawkzy, 2-goal lead with 16 seconds. Delay kickoff from Nass, and the ball does not drop directly in, but Mawkzy does control it. So he goes to the ceiling and even finds the angle. What a save. Nass now, just for his momentum going forward, looking for a nice one. Mawkzy will deny. Tied series, best of 3, separating these two for the 250. So we head to Game 5. Game 5. Mawkzy and Nass. A matchup for the ages. Starting to become a classic, just like Mawkzy versus Ruas. Mawkzy had the best own goal I've ever seen, which is crazy to say because we've been seeing a lot of good own goals recently. Even in RLCS, there's been a couple nice ones. Mawkzy will open up the scoring in game number 5. with an air dribble into a wave dash shot. Now, what's important about this one, and I've talked about it many times on the stream, is the fact that he sets it up angled at that far post. So if Nass wants to defend, he's going to have to do so in the space in front of the net where he can no longer drive on the back wall. So he has to try and set up an angle to jump off and make a play from as far away as possible. And that's what makes it so tough and allows Mawkzy to beat him. Whereas if Mawkzy sets up that angle on the near post, Nass won't even really sweat too much. Double jump bump, the ball not on target. Nass will collect this clean though. Mawkzy will be recovering late with low boost and is very unlikely to stop him, as Nass will equalize. Mawkzy with the boost win off the kickoff. Nass trying to do his best to see what he can make out of the possession, but I think he went a little bit too aggressive. As aggressive as Vatira was when he played against Mawkzy, he did get a few cheeky zero boost goals that pretty much no one else get. And I think that the reason why is because his opponents are not expecting him to be that greedy. And so you will be able to get a goal here and there, although I do think it ended up being his demise ultimately against Mawkzy. Mawkzy missing this angle. Now pinching a 50 to reset the field. Nass will get another 100. Mawkzy, not the cleanest setup. I don't even think he got a reset off that, and Nass will just long shoot it in and try and go bump Mawkzy to make sure he knows, hey, that was easy. Mawkzy and Nass fighting for possession. Nass with the rare complete miss on the backflip. Maybe tried to make it a diagonal backflip and it would have been right where it needed to be. Nass recognizing he's not going to be able to chase Mawkzy down. Will now take the possession all the way into his own half. Trying to reset the field right now to get himself a chance on net with a bit of space. He has it as Mawkzy swung wide in the midfield, but Nass didn't really rush the collection of the ball like I would expect him to take advantage of just how much space he was given. He kind of let Mawkzy close that space again. It led to a much tougher play for Nass to make. Nass picking up the attacking corner. Going to bump Mawkzy into a side wall dribble. Mawkzy should be returning late and on very little boost. Nass has executed in the past in this position. Mawkzy forces Nass up early, or forces him to use the reset early. And he does miss high, and now he missed the midfield. Mawkzy won't let you get away with that. Once you've missed the 100, just prepare for the flick that is inevitable. Back to the wall to air dribble for Nass. Mawkzy defending off the kickoff and a nice flick. And a good mix-up. Nass does a good job of not taking this dribble too high and making it feel like Mawkzy can challenge high in the air. He wants to maybe go to the ceiling like you see so many players do nowadays, but he notices it's kind of a mid-height dribble. He has to transition back to the ground, and right as he does that, Nass launches the flick to regain the height and shoot over the top of him. It's a masterful setup from Nass. But the work is not done in erasing the lead. Mawkzy low 50. He'll make it 5-3. Wave dash kickoff. I think again, Mawkzy is angling his flip to the side wall so that he is very likely to bump into his opposition. He's not going so all in with it that if he misses, he's just off in no man's land. He is still trying. What a save. Insane save from Mawkzy. He is still trying to get towards the boost. That's what makes it nice dual purpose, but insane save. Even Nass going to drop him a what a save. Zap dash from Mawkzy, an attempt to not get scored on in the kickoff, but Nass plays it perfectly. Doesn't rush when he notices that Mawkzy has set up well in net for the first shot. Instead, waits until Mawkzy is forced to flip his shadow and then shoots past him. Mawkzy denied, but wins the race to the corner and will just roll it right in. 7-4 with 52 seconds left to go. Mawkzy trying to give himself match points. And another huge prize pool show match against one of the top 5 in 1v1. I mean, I say one of the top 5. Is Nass just top 1 right now? I'd have to think about it maybe a little bit more. Technically, Mawkzy's top 1 on RL duels. Nass off the ceiling and into the net as he returns to the ground. But I think with Nass's tournament wins and winning the recent EU Champions Road, it's hard to think of a reason why Nass wouldn't be number 1. But maybe Mawkzy would be stealing it away from him right now with a series win. Mawkzy, high lob. Nass needs a big counter. There's going to be a chance to shoot here. Mawkzy can only delay it for a moment with the kind of boost he has. So it will be a goal. It's just a matter of time. Mawkzy decided he wanted to delay it by a couple seconds. 12 seconds now. Nass needs a big kickoff win. Mawkzy going to go back to his all-reliable wave dash that he loves, and another single jump to wave dash. He got the boost win. He's going to take the back corner, and he's not even going to try and shoot because he doesn't need to. He knows the ball will roll away and be a game win for him. Nass, backed up against the wall, needs 2 wins to prevent Mawkzy from keeping one of the best streaks we've seen in 1v1 continuing. Game 6, Mawkzy and Nass. Mawkzy a game away from continuing what will be a 5-series win streak against 5 of the top 7 maybe without thinking about it very hard. Not really sure where Vatira would be, but he'd be pretty high up there, certainly in the top 10. Mawkzy cutting away as he tries to work his first possession of this game. Some chain dashing does get him a decent shot. Nass able to guide it away. And possession will reset for Nass as his bounce dribble intercepted before he can really get it going. Nice pre-flip from Mawkzy to tap it out of Nass's control. Clean catch, side flip. He's going to try and punish Nass. Oh, and he does! But he does it with the fake. He thought Nass was going to head to the corner boost, so he thought he could cut back and beat him. But Nass did read it, but he had to panic to get back in time. And he was not ready to slow down for a fake as Mawkzy will tie up the game. Nass scoring quickly off the kickoff to try and forget what just happened. Mawkzy going to give himself a great pass, which, yeah, in retrospect, it was a great pass. Not sure why he didn't collect that and roll it to his corner. Probably just didn't want Nass to chase him down. Because the pop was fairly high, he was going to have to wait a really long time to catch it, and then likely Nass with boost advantage is going to make him feel the pain. But certainly it's not better to just pass it to him. Nass going to win another kickoff. 2 straight kickoffs. And I'm sure Nass isn't too worried about getting faked earlier. Mawkzy. Is he able to stop the bleeding here? Needs to make a save and get a nice possession. He does, and he dodges the bump and gets a goal. So bleeding, I would say, is stopped. Although yet another kickoff that felt Nass favored and needed some good maneuvering from Mawkzy on defense to get out of. Nass gonna slot crossbar down off the kickoff. I mean, it's just been a ton of kickoffs. Mawkzy needs to clean it up. I mean, of course, credit to Nass, who is putting him in these positions as well and converting on them every time he can. Nass, hook shot is out ahead of Mawkzy. 5-2. As the scoring has been coming quickly. If it's not on the first possession, it's on the second one quickly following. This kickoff headed straight down the field as Mawkzy and Nass play sideswipe, but Mawkzy is going to be able to cut it away. Nass now faking and gets Mawkzy back. Got him up in the air, even though Mawkzy does get a touch. He's not able to 50 this one away. Mawkzy seemed to be trying to get physical with Nass, but it did not work out well for him. As he rushed back into the corner, he just got in the way of Nass, got himself bumped. I think we might be going to a game 7 if this keeps up. But we have seen Mawkzy make 5-goal comebacks with less time very recently. So far, though, I haven't cursed it because Nass will score again. Both these guys kind of missing their wave dash kickoffs. Nass certainly missing harder. And Mawkzy putting some heat behind the flick. Reminding everybody what he can do. Nass's challenges had been intercepting these flicks previously. And that's the kind of work that Mawkzy does that will make it possible for him to go back to the low 50 game in those positions. As he gets defenders creeping higher and higher on their pre-jumps to try and stop him. 8-4. Mawkzy chipping into a delay from Nass. Seemingly prepared for that. Putting a ball on target. Nass should have that save. Reset a possession from Mawkzy. And Nass is not going to try and stay close. He's going to wait out in the midfield for the boost to respawn and is very likely to get double jump bumped. And I think he recognized that, so he turned in the challenge before that could get set up. But it might just happen again. Nass, I don't know how that worked, but somehow got around Mawkzy and made the save and will get a goal. Hopefully it shows us here in the replay. We'll watch it from Mawkzy POV. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see. I swear. Those cars melded together on my screen. Mawkzy going to go right back to the double jump bump. Says, sure, you got it last time, but you won't stop me this time. And he proves to be correct. Mawkzy pinning it just about top shelf. An important part of those setups. Nass, though, I mean, it's just a kickoff game right now. He has gotten at least 5 quick kickoff goals. And sure, Mawkzy maybe has one here or there too, so we can't just take Nass's kickoff goals away, but there's no question that has been his advantage. And another first possession for him will lead to a goal as Mawkzy goes soaring over the top. Wave dash kickoff. Nass lobbing it up for Mawkzy. First touch reset, gets a second. Probably would have needed a third to get the kind of movement necessary to make Nass miss defensively. Nass puts one on target. What a save from Mawkzy to keep it pinned there on the goal line so that he can set up this pinch. And we've actually seen him score some crazy pinches before, but Nass was fully respecting the pinch. He was all the way back on the goal line, ready to stop Mawkzy if he did get one of his perfect full field pinches. 12-5. And one thing Mawkzy has not... Okay, I was going to say, one thing he's not done so far is quit on any game, but he will quit on this one. And we will head to Game 7 between Mawkzy and Nass. Winner gets $250. Game 7, Mawkzy and Nass. Will the Mawkzy win streak continue as he racks up the cash prize for each one of these best of sevens, or at least many of the best of sevens? I don't know if all of them have had prize, but certainly everyone's been locked in an attempt to try and take him down. Nass, after seeing the win against Rally, offered himself up to stop the Mawkzy streak in its track, and he's got himself a 1-0 lead in Game 7. Wave dash kickoff for Mawkzy. Used to get the bump a little bit later than he normally does, but he's got himself a great position now. It's going to be a double jump bump. Wait a second. An awkward setup. He had to land back down, but he still pops the ball before Nass can get to it and gets a goal the same way, or I shouldn't say the same way, all the same. Definitely not the same way as a double jump bump, but quick thinking after the flub setup. Mawkzy absolutely has to limit Nass's direct kickoff goals. Even if he allows a couple first possessions for Nass, he has allowed goals within a couple seconds of the ball being touched way too many times in the previous game. Right now he's doing a really solid job of defending against what is a possession that Nass got off kickoff that was very favorable, but he did escape. So credit to Mawkzy's defense, as he is now finding himself on the wrong side of the ball to keep the attack going. He'll instead reset into his back corner. He's got a carry. We know what Mawkzy can do with that, and Nass does as well, so he's going to challenge before he has to find out. As Mawkzy will take this one back down to the ground. Big pop will get Nass to the back wall as he goes for a very risky psycho attempt, and Mawkzy could have gotten a much better shot out of that. It's fortunate that Nass did not have to defend a follow-up. Instead, he got gifted a great possession, and he will use it. An air dribble out of the back corner. He has done well from these positions. Mawkzy had more than enough boost. He didn't have to reset to the back corner defensively if he didn't want to, if he felt like he had a better chance to make a save shadowing closer, but whether out of habit or just because he still feels like the best way to defend is with that big swing in net, Mawkzy will get the wave dash bump and get himself a second goal to bring us right back to tied. Mawkzy has been reading these delays from Nass and chipping it over the top of him. Wants a 50 right now. Not easy to do, though, with Mawkzy flying past the net sideways. No real good way to win momentum in towards the net. Nass taking a breather here to bring the ball on top of his car, trying to get Mawkzy to basically panic and make a mistake defensively. But credit to Mawkzy, he definitely does not. In fact, he's going to score the other way. And Nass had a pretty decent chance there that he decided to trade for the mind game of just dropping the ball low and seeing if Mawkzy would freak out. But Mawkzy did not. Nass catching a possession off the kickoff. Mawkzy making sure to prioritize undercutting Nass before dealing with the ball, because he knows not only does he have to get the save, he has to end Nass's possession. Nass popping it back out to Mawkzy, who will pop it right back. Another delay from Mawkzy on this travel into the corner to make sure he catches and undercuts Nass. He does not want to get there soon or too soon and maybe become a victim of a bump or just not be in control of the possession. That being said, not able to create anything out of it. And now Nass on the ball. This flick. Oh my goodness, a big miss by Nass. Mawkzy not going to be able to score off of it. As Nass does recover. But still, maybe a bit of nerves here in this Game 7 because those kind of misses were not happening earlier. Nass. Double jump bump. Mawkzy wants to go over the top of it. No! He did slam Nass far into the corner. But what he did not do is pool shot him back into the ball, which is what he would have needed to survive. It's going to be 3-3 with 1:30 left to go. Delayed kickoff from Nass again, this time not read by Mawkzy. He does lose the race to the midfield 100, and Nass will go to the air. Mawkzy pre-jumps, floats, and does intercept. We've seen Nass react to the pre-jump a bunch and be able to go underneath. Mawkzy on the follow-up side flip, too, also covering the shot while staying in the play. Mawkzy is going to get a boost grab on Nass's back left. Oh, no, a missed touch from Mawkzy. He should... Oh, no, he's going to own goal it. Nass clear out of the corner on target. I mean, it's a little bit of a shot, but I think he's expecting Mawkzy to catch it. Mawkzy, you could see, intentionally trying to cut to the right side of the ball so he could carry it into his corner, and he overshot it. Didn't get the touch, and then was in big trouble. Ends up own goaling. Mawkzy, interesting wave dash. Wanted the 180 wave dash. Instead, got a 360. Has Nass on low boost. Couldn't pop it over the top of him. Not going to rush to the midfield 100. Instead, going to pop the ball high. Has to score on this possession, you would think. This flick is a bit wide. Again, not rushing to the boost. He wants to stick around and make sure Nass feels awkward. Nass gets a demo, and that's huge with 30 seconds left to go. Ball in his back corner. Mawkzy turns to shadow and then challenges. Does not get a touch on the ball. Nass has an open net, and it is going to be a really tough position for Mawkzy with 25 seconds. Nass wants to end the streak before it can really get going. What is Mawkzy going to go to in a way to bring it back? Nass dropped a woo no. Is he trying to get in his head? The wave dash kickoff for Mawkzy, the missed wave dash, but he's actually in the perfect spot anyways. The front flip, can he dunk it in? He doesn't even need to. He gets to the net before Nass. That couldn't have been an intentional missed wave dash, was it? Because he ends up being in the absolute perfect spot. And now, with 18 seconds left to go, he actually stands a chance. Nass, standard kickoff. Mawkzy goes standard as well. And he has a possession. He's going to take it to the side wall. Not the best first touch. Maybe trying to bait Nass in, though. Nass decides to be passive, shadowing away. Mawkzy not going to be able to get to the ball. He thought Nass was going to fake challenge. Nass lobs it on target. Mawkzy has the save. Can he keep this up? There's no way. Mawkzy brings this back. Nass! Oh, my goodness. For a second, he played it so passive. It is GG's. Mawkzy's streak does end by 1 goal in Game 7. Nass will stop it in its track and take the win. What a game. What a series. Man, insane. Insane. Great run of games for Mawkzy either way. But Nass stays on top.